Alright, we're getting set up right here. Go ahead and enjoy watching while I'm setting up. This is the Eternal Format Tournament for August. We're having some rough edges getting set up. A few people didn't realize this was on Untap, so let's take a moment. I'm going to get the timer set up here in just a moment. But he's a dramatic kitty cat. Again, guys, we're getting set up, so I'm getting set up. Everybody else is playing. Round one has started. See some interesting new Prime action versus Arceus here. Bunnybird's got the wrong version of one of their cards in their deck. They are their opponent has agreed to let them go ahead and play with the correct one. Just keep that in mind as they're playing. I'm just going to get the timer up on the screen, and then I'll be a little more attentive, I think. I think we've more or less sorted out the issues for round one. There's always something. Let's see here. We're going to have some rough edges here for a second while I try to get this timer functioning. All right, real quick, I'm going to trim this out, and then we'll be magically fine. And doesn't see this magic live. There's the time left in our round. Sorry about the rough edges, guys. Getting this set up last second to make sure everything's all good to go for our tournament participants before we get this stream going. You can see the timer up now. So we do have everything functioning. Yay, hooray. Welcome to the Eternal Format Tournament. This is part of our monthly alternate format series on the Justin Mazel Discord server. If you're interested in playing alternate formats, this is definitely your way to enjoy them. Eternal Format took this month's format, so this is August. Next month, we have the Quick Draw format, which was voted on today prior to the start of Eternal. So Quick Draw is a very interesting format, changes every time it's played. The way it works is the first set in, because basically it's made up of 5 sets, right? 5 random, well, not 5 random sets, but 5 sets that are all part of the card pool for Quick Draw. So the first set is a random set picked from what are considered the core sets of each era or each year. So stuff like Ultra Prism or Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield base set, those core sets, right? And then the participants, the voters, have two different chances to vote on sets they want to participate in or participate with. And then the tournament organizer picks a set, typically to try to balance things out. And then finally, there's a random mini set thrown in. You get 5 total sets. Another issue. Let's see if I can fix it real quick. That's sorted. Hopefully we keep going. All right. Back to this game. I'm just barely getting in here with you guys. There are 13 minutes left in this round. So we should have some interesting stuff happening. All right. That said, we have Arceus moving the active spot with 3 fire energies and a capture energy. I believe Mr. Brainy's Compassion. Choose one of your Pokemon and play that isn't a Pokemon EX. Return that Pokemon and all cards attached to it to your hand. Looks like they used that to scoop up their active to move Arceus to the active spot. I'm doing an attack on Mew Prime. That Mew Prime is KO'd. If I'm not mistaken, we have Bunnybird on the top here and Slidey on the bottom. Bunnybird is currently got an active Delcatty. This is the Power Circulation Delcatty. I believe this is the wrong one. I'm not sure. I think they mean to play the one that's Thirst for Supporters, but I'm not quite certain. I know there was a card that was accidentally imported incorrectly, and they are playing it as the correct card instead of the wrong one. That will be corrected for next round, so we'll know for certain by then. We see a Guzma come down. Ooh, Irritating Pollen. That is some ugly stuff. Alright, Irritating Pollen. Vileplume gets pulled to the active spot. And we see a switch of Delcatty. So that Delcatty goes to the bench. The fresh Delcatty goes to the active spot. And then we see a Guzma come down on Slide's turn, pulling that Vileplume right back out, and Arceus goes to the active spot to knock out that Delcatty. Not quite yet. Cosmic Power first. Cosmic Power is Claydol's Pokemon Power, or Poke Power problem. So Poke Power says once during your turn before your attack, you may choose up to 2 cards from your hand and put them on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you do, draw cards until you have 6 cards in hand. This power can't be used if Claydol is affected by a special condition. Alright, so that Delcatty has gone down, and the new Delcatty is going to the active spot. That is Bunnybird's last Pokemon. Will we see some sort of recovery, or has Slatty just taken this game in a landslide? Okay, so we are seeing a concession from Bunnybird. Bunnybird is going ahead and conceding to Slatty. Slatty has taken this game. That is a very interesting start to that first round. Alrighty, so we have a couple of reports so far on games that have finished. Let's see what we have in terms of open games for this format. Go ahead and stop watching this particular game. We'll move on to, that is the only game active. That is interesting. Alright, let's see what we got. We are going to move on to the next round, looks like. Alright, round two's pairings have gone up. So tournament participants are going to be jumping in here in just a second with their new opponents. I'm going to need to get this timer going here. Set it up with the new record time. Go. We'll go ahead and start that in just a moment here. Go ahead and start that timer. People have acknowledged that it is indeed started. All right, let's see. What shall we see? Let's go ahead and watch this one here. So this is going to be David Hockman versus the Real Mysterious Player. If you aren't familiar with David Hockman, you should give him a follow on Twitter because he's awesome, actually, and tweets a lot of stuff about Unlimited and has done a bunch of translations for Limitless. He's a big part of Limitless, obviously. Done all sorts of great stuff. So definitely follow him on Twitter. Avid is one of the foremost authorities on the Unlimited format and happened to catch interest in the Eternal format. and is thankfully participating in today's tournament. So this is very, very exciting to see him here. We have two extremely skilled players here, so we'll see how this goes. I know this is David's first time using Untap, so we'll see how this goes. But this should be very, very interesting all the same. All right, gentlemen are setting up. We not quite realized that this was not a PTCGO tournament and was not standard format. So they are dropping. The last round for showing up late. This would appear to be why. All right. So with that, we are going to start this game here in just a second. All right, we see a Radiant Halucha in the active spot. That is a very interesting card in this format. Holy what? Already? Oh. Okay, so we see an active Spheal, Ditto Prism Star, and a bench Spheal from David. Okay. I am very curious to see what this deck is doing. Should be interesting. The Ditto Prism Star, if you're not familiar with it, has the Almighty Evolution ability. Once during your turn before your attack, you may put any stage 1 card from your hand onto this Pokemon to evolve it. You can't use this ability during your first turn or the turn this Pokemon was put into play. It basically becomes a basic Pokemon for any stage 1 Pokemon that you need to evolve into. Very, very strong card. Alright, we see a Brooklet Hill. That is Mysterious Player's Brooklet Hill being played there and being used by Mysterious Player. Right, we see a Baltoy come down. That is not surprising. Baltoy is the prior evolution to Claydol, which is a staple card in the Eternal format. Alright, so it looks like the turn's passed on to David, and David is using the Brooklet Hill too. Looks like they are checking their price cards, make sure their key pieces are not missing. You know, with these Eternal format decks, and this is even true of expanded, especially these tons of 1-ofs and 2-ofs become pretty important. And most of the time you get them when you need them, but it is very important to be aware of them. Players who've played towards Urshifu list are also familiar with the potential pain that can come with some one-ups. But when they're available to you, they're super awesome, and that is why you play them. Alright, so we see another Spheal come down and a Pokemon Collector drop to the bench to let the real MP and us know that that's what's being played. So Pokemon Collector goes down. I'm just searching for a couple of basics, it looks like. So check for the 3 basics, put them into your hand. So we're going to see a couple of Baltoy come down. Baltoy, and Unknown Q. Yes, Unknown Q with quick 1-string return for your attack if Unknown Q is on your bench. You discard all cards attached to Unknown Q and attach it to one of your Pokemon as a tool card. And that it's going to basically reduce their retreat cost by 1. That's a really important card to have available to you if you are concerned that your opponent is going to be using item lock or trainer lock in general. It makes sure that you still have some way of retreating, even if there is an unfortunate item or trainer lock in play. Alright, so we see that Unknown Q get attached to the Ditto Prism Star, and the other Baltoy come down. Alrighty. And we've passed over 2 Mysterious Players, so it's Mysterious Player's turn now. They have drawn the card from their deck, and we're just waiting on seeing what sort of magic they are going to play. Okay, so we see Lapras come down. This is the Lapras that has the same ability, well, the same effect on its Pokemon power as the ability that you might be familiar with on Luminion or Tapu Lele GX. This is a Pokemon power, has called Support Navigation, 1-string return. When you put Lapras onto your bench from your hand, you may search your deck for a supporter card, show it to your opponent, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this is, it's the same effect as Luminion. So we're going to see Corinna come down. Corinna says search your deck for a fighting Pokemon and an item card, reveal them, and then put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So we see that Claydol, and I'm not sure what item Mysterious Player has gotten here, but I'm sure that's going to be something interesting. Corinna and Irida are both probably extremely good cards for this format because even under item lock, they can be useful. They can get you your Pokemon out for both water and fighting decks, which with Brookwood Hill in play, that seems to be pretty like what they're playing. And also interesting because if you do need item cards, you can get them with those 2. And if you're not under item lock, can then turn around and use them, which is actually makes those cards super powerful. Cards like Green's Exploration can also be very powerful if you're running no Pokemon with abilities, and you can just use those Green's Explorations to find the trainer cards that you're after. Very, very interesting. Okay, we see computer search for a fighting energy. I'm going to drop that fighting energy onto the Hawlucha. Looks like that Hawlucha is going to be attacking into this field. So that will be doing 70 damage, which is not enough to knock out that field. This field only has 50 HP. Those who aren't familiar with the strong energy does boost the damage of fighting type Pokemon by 20. David says, attacking Hawlucha was not an archetype I was expecting. I have a suspicion that's probably not what this archetype is supposed to be, but it is very interesting all the same. So this is what we're seeing at the beginning of this particular game. Okay, we have just 20 minutes left in this round. 20 and change. Alright, we see a Ditto come down and a Fanpy. This is a Fanpy from Vivid Voltage. Has the Strike Back attack, which is fairly potent. Strike Back does 30 times damage. That's 30 damage for each damage counter on that Fanpy. And then Ditto has the Pokemon Power Form Variation. Once during your turn before your attack, you may search your discard pile for a basic Pokemon, excluding Pokemon X and Ditto. Switch it with a Ditto. Any cards attached to Ditto, damage counters, special conditions, and effects are now on the new Pokemon. Place Ditto in the discard pile. So basically, you're trading. This is kind of the same ability as, or effectively the same ability as Ditto V, but as a basic and a non-rule boxer. All right, we see twins come down, so you may play this card only if you have more prize cards left than your opponent. Search your deck for any 2 cards and put them in your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So we are going to see a Celio, a pair of Celios. That's very interesting. Come down. There's Celio with the power circulation ability. So once during your turn before you attack, you may place search your discard pile for a basic energy card, show it to your opponent, and put it on top of your deck. If you do, place a damage counter on Celio. This power can't be used if Celio is affected by a special condition. We're going to see a level ball come down. Claydol is found. Yeah, ball toy on the bench is going to evolve into a Claydol, giving David access to Cosmic Power. Cosmic Power again. Trade 2 of the cards in your hand to the bottom of your deck, and then draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. Extremely powerful effect, and absolutely a staple of this format. Alright, so we've seen Ultra Ball come down, discarding Ultra Ball and a Field Blower to get a second Claydol down. Claydol does not have a limitation like Crobat. You can play that Poke Power more than once during your turn if you have more than one of them available to you. So that is extremely good for David to get that extra Cosmic Power. He's going to cycle those last 2 cards in his hand to get a fresh hand of 6 cards. That's super strong. Alright, we see a Pikachu coming down. This is a Sun and Moon Pikachu. I'm gonna be honest, guys, I don't know what's going on. This deck is quite interesting, but let's see what happens, shall we? Alright, so this Sun and Moon Pikachu has Thunder Wave, which is a coin flip for paralysis, and Electro Ball. I'm assuming there is a Raichu involved here. Maybe it's the Shocklock Raichu. Maybe this is an eternal version of Shocklock. We shall see. Now we're seeing a pass. It's going back to Mysterious Player. Very, very interesting. The Ditto has come to the bench. They went and retreated that to make sure that that's available to them next turn. And Celio is now in the active spot. So that Hawlucha is not going to be dealing... Oh, actually, it is. That Hawlucha is still going to be able to knock out that Celio. Celio only has 70 HP. That is quite low. That is sometimes the trade-off in this format. You get these Pokemon that have very powerful Poke Powers or abilities, but they have low HP because they are older Pokemon. So you see this Lapras, for example. It only has 80 HP, but it has an extremely powerful Poke Power and support navigation. Same is true of Celio. Celio does have a nice ability with that power circulation, but it also, fortunately, only has 70 HP. Alright, we're going to see an Ultra Ball come down from Mysterious Player. See which cards they are going to discard. I'm curious how they're going to get damage counters on that Phanpy to get it up and powered, but they'll pull it off. Alright, so we see a Brooklet Hill and a Field Blower discarded. Oh, we are going with Donphan. Very, very fun. So we are going to go with the Earthquake route. Alrighty. Alright, so Claydol. We're going to use Cosmic Power. Can they find the energy for Donphan to get an Earthquake off? Earthquake would be devastating right now. David does not have any bench barrier effect in play. That 20 damage will start eating up his bench very, very quickly. All right, Professor Oak's new theory. So this is very much like Cynthia, a more recent card if you're familiar with that. Basically, shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6 cards. Very, very good effect. Kind of miss it, honestly. I would prefer it over research, even though research is faster to play and does draw an extra card. But the Cynthia was very good, and Cynthia and Oak's new theory obviously were very good for forcing you to thin your deck out so that you didn't draw back into cards that you were not interested in drawing into with Cynthia. Alright, so we see the Ditto Prism Star come to the active spot. David draws a card to start his turn, and we shall see what happens. You're going to go for the bench barrier effect? No, going for a Dimension Valley, dropping that Dimension Valley to drop the attack cost of his Psychic Pokemon by a single colorless energy. We see a Versus Seeker come down and Twins drops. So Twins, again, if you have more cards, or more prize cards than your opponent does, go ahead and search your deck for 2 of any card and put them in your hand. We see a Walrein X and a Raichu come down. And I was right, that is indeed the Shocklock Raichu. That paralysis comes down. Hawlucha is paralyzed. No, it shows upside down. That is going to be a little confusing. No pun intended there. And then Walrein X says, once during your turn, when you play Walrein X from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may use this power. Your opponent can't play any trainer cards from his or her hand during your opponent's next turn. So that Walrein X has completely locked out any trainer cards on Mysterious Player's side. So that is a full trainer lock, which is very nasty. Alright, we see a computer search drop. A Pikachu and a Cynthia are going to be thrown away to get a Celebi Prism Star. Celebi Prism Star says, devolve any number of your bench Pokemon as many times as you like. Put each evolution card removed this way into your hand. You also see a Pollen's Voltorb come down as an energy attached to Celebi Prism Star. So I do believe this lock is now fully in place and is unbreakable without any trainer cards to pull this break or to break this lock. I do not think that Mysterious Player can break out of this. Alright, so Time Distortion is going to remove the Walrein and put it into David's hand. And that's a rough one. So Hawlucha is paralyzed. So he will not be able to attack because of Shock Lock. And to top things off, the Mysterious Player can no longer play any trainer cards. Alright. This is going to be quite an interesting one. Alright. I'm going to move this over here real quick. I need to note. Alright, so David is going to be perpetually behind in prize cards because David is not taking any knockouts. He's going to use Twins to find Team Rocket's Handiwork and Milotic. Look at that Milotic here in a second when it comes down, if it comes down. And there it goes. Analytics Sparkling Ripple says when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may put a card from your discard pile into your hand. A very strong effect. So that's going to put, looks like a Versus Seeker back into David's hand. And then we get that Time Distortion dropping again. Hitting into Mysterious Player. And we get another pass. And this lock is pretty well set up and in place. Alright, so Team Rocket's handiwork just flipped one of the heads for that card. So we're going to discard a card from the top of Mysterious Player's deck. So it is going to be a mill there. Mill 1. Walrein has just come back down to set up the trainer lock again. And Raichu has once again dropped to lock the Radiant Hawlucha with Paralysis. We see the Time Distortion pull up the Milotic and the Raichu and the Walrein X, all allowing David to continue that loop and continually lock Mysterious Player out of basically doing anything. At this point, this is a firm full lock. All Mysterious Player can do is draw cards, attach an energy card, and pray. And then we're going to pass. There are 8 minutes left in this round. So unless David can successfully deck Mysterious Player out, there is a very high chance this game will go to a tie. It will go to time and then a tie. This is going to be quite an interesting way of making things happen here. All right, we see 3 of those cards come down. Lock Para attacks is just dropping them real quick to show what's going on. And then an attack and pull those cards back to the hand. Celebi is quite a menace. Celebi, Time Distortion effect is extremely potent when you have cards that have such a variety of effect. See a Claydol. The Mysterious Player is drawing once again from their deck. Interestingly enough, Mysterious Player actually has more cards in their deck than David is at the moment. David has 17. Mysterious Player has 28. Be very interesting to see how this goes because David's mill effect is quite slow. The Bellaba Brycement isn't available in this format. Era. Very, very interesting. A lot, para, and attack. Just that same old chain coming down again and again as the Mysterious Player draws to their deck, trying to find something that can potentially break this lock. And we see another pass. We see the mill again. We see a Shining Celebi get discarded with that mill effect. Mysterious player now down to 22 cards in hand. And we see the three problem children in this lock, if you will. This is quite an interesting deck. Very, very potent. Very interesting to see Mysterious player play out their deck. Maybe we'll follow them this next round. They're not playing against such a potent lock deck. I would say see Rocket's Handiwork come down yet again. It's going to be a double tails, so there's going to be no mill there. Milotic does drop to pull most likely the Versus Seeker. Fair attack. Right. Yeah, cleared out again. That is brutal. This would be one of those situations where something like Rush In could be very, very helpful. David does not have any sort of ability lock or Pokepower lock in play at the moment. So something like Rush In could break the paralysis and allow you to get a knockout and take that Celebi out of play. That Celebi is the big, big problem at the moment with that time distortion attack. Without a way to knock that Celebi out, Mysterious player is stuck, very much locked in place. If Mysterious player can get something with Rush In, perhaps a Keldeo EX or a Ultimate Necrozma and the energy necessary to power it up, then he does stand a chance. But at this moment, it's not looking great. All right, we see a pass back to David. David draws a card. We are going to see a heads. So one heads off of that handiwork. So one card is going to be discarded from Mysterious Player's deck. That is going to be a Fanpy. And then we see that triple combo come down yet again, locking Mysterious Player down quite hard. That lock is extremely strong. Holy crap. This is almost an instant pass after that draw from Mysterious Player. David's hand is huge, but David is only at 11 cards left in their deck, so there could be an issue there. Alright, so we see a double tails off of that handiwork, so there's going to be no mill this turn. We do see the rest of the lock come down, Trainer Lock and Paralysis. And then Time Distortion to pull those Pokemon back into the hand. Most likely, obviously we can't see this, but most likely David is holding on to a Cynthia or a Professor Oak's New Theory, something to cycle his hand back into his deck to prevent himself from decking out. It's also quite possible that he uses that Milotic to pull a Versus Seeker and a Cynthia from his discard pile to ensure that he's able to do that. Because he does have a Cynthia in his discard pile. Alright, we see that lock drop again. All three pieces coming down. And the turn goes back. There we go. Back to Mysterious Player. Serious player still trying to draw cards, trying to find an out against this lock. Not finding it. There's another pass. Celebi has 90 HP, but that 90 HP is a huge menace when you aren't able to attack. Team Rocket's handiwork coming down again. Tails and then heads. That is going to be a mill. I am wondering if I am reading the card right. Rocket's handiwork. Oh, it's 2 cards for each. Ha! I was reading handiwork wrong because I was reading it too quickly. Oh, we have time called. We'll let them know. All right, that is time. Let's see if Mysterious Player just concedes the tie. Yeah, okay, they are going to report it as a tie. Makes sense because it's tie. All right, so we do some behind the scenes action real quick. Get everything set up for the 3rd round. So we have tie between Avid and his opponent. And just have a couple of drops. Just sort that real quick. Dropped. Like we all right. All right, let's see here. We are going to go ahead and pair this next round. Let the players know who their opponents are. We have 6 players still in the match. This is round 3 of 4 for Swiss. All right, so that game has closed. We are going to go ahead and jump in the game between Bunny Bird and Mysterious Player. Game to go up. going to go ahead and watch this. This is going to be Bunnybird versus Mysterious Player. Mysterious Player was our champion last tournament. They played Ultra Necrozma from Cosmic Eclipse. They are not playing Ultra Necrozma this time. They have brought a new deck, something new and shiny. Bunnybird is going to go ahead and choose to go first. Mysterious Player and Bunnybird both have phone Pokemon. They're not taking mulligans this game. Alright. Best of luck to our players. We see an active Fanpy. And its opponent is got Wishing Star Jirachi. Wishing Star Jirachi says, once during your turn before your attack, if Jirachi is your active Pokemon, you may look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose one of them, and put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Afterward, if Jirachi and your other Pokemon, this is back when you could play 2 active Pokemon in double battles. Obviously, that's not a thing anymore, so Jirachi is asleep. Power can't be used if Jirachi is affected by a special condition. So, in this particular case, most likely Bunnybird is playing Escape Board to mitigate that and retreat out of that sleep to remove the sleep condition on Jirachi to continually get a use out of Wishing Star. Wishing Star is a very strong effect. So we see Mew Prime and a couple of Skitty come down. I have a very upset cat. What is wrong, Nairo? What's up, dude? Come here. We see a Lost Blender, 2 different Pokemon being thrown into the Lost Zone there. Different cards, rather. So, Lost Zone has the Infernate with the Infernal Vortex attack. Does 80 times damage. So, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. This attack does 80 damage for each energy you find there. Then discard those energy cards and shuffle the other cards back into your deck. So, most likely, Bunnybird is going to be making use of Lost Link, which is Pokebody on Mew. Mew says it can use the attacks of all of the Pokemon in the Lost Zone, both yours and your opponent's. Any Pokemon in the Lost Zone are now suddenly free attacks. Not free, but you still need the energy to use it, but you have access to those for free. Alright, that Jirachi is still asleep. There's no skateboard on that Jirachi, so unfortunately it stays asleep. And it won't be able to go unless there's a skateboard attached to it between her and the start of Bunnybirds next turn. See a level ball come down on Mysterious Player's side. Level ball searching that deck for a Pokemon with 90 HP or less to bring into play. Probably something like a Lapras to help get set up. What's going on? That Lapras again has a Pokepower that is very much like Luminion V's Luminous Sign. Search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. We'll see what MP chooses to go for. They are most likely checking their price cards at the moment to see what they prize. That is the Lapras. We see support navigation drop. See which supporter card Mysterious Player goes for here. going to be a new theory. So Professor Oak's new theory is shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6 cards. So that is going to be a fresh hand of 6 cards. You see a ball toy come down. Getting ready for that clay doll as soon as possible is key in this format. You want to make absolutely sure that you always have access to clay doll's Poke Power to make sure that you can draw cards at any point in the game. We see a luxury ball come down. Luxury ball, search your deck for a Pokemon excluding Pokemon X, or sorry, excluding Pokemon level X. Show it to your opponent and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterward. If any luxury ball is in your discard pile, you cannot play this card. All right, we see Diancie Prism Star come down with the Princess's Cheers ability. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, your fighting Pokemon's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. That is going to be an instant plus 20 for any particular fighting Pokemon, of which Phanpy happens to be. We see Brooklyn Hill come down, most likely looking for another Phanpy. We shall see. Yep, there's that Brooklyn Hill use. And there drops that Phanpy. That is a very fun deck. Alright, so this is Dawn Fan from Vivid Voltage. Very interesting attack. Alright, so we're going to see a Stampede from this Phanpy. Do 50 damage right now. It's not quite a knockout. Yep, Stampede for 50. Jirachi eats that 50, but does survive. So it's going to have 10 HP remaining. And Jirachi is going to need to flip for sleep if it wakes up. It does. Okay, so Jirachi is awake again, so it will be able to use that Wishing Star ability, or Poke Power. It is not an ability. Very important distinction. And forgive me if I misspeak today, but it is not an ability. It is a Poke Power. That does matter a lot. Because if you have effects in play that turn off abilities, they do not turn off Poke Powers. So that does very, very much matter. It's like we see that that Jirachi go back to sleep after using its ability. There's that escape board. That escape board will allow Jirachi to retreat. We see both Delcatty coming down. This is apparently the correct Delcatty, so it's going to search for those energy cards upon evolution. Oh no, not upon evolution, just whenever you feel like it. That is amazing. Okay, puts them on the top of the deck. All right, so that is the trade-off there. So that Professor Sycamore drop. See another Mew Prime come down. Lost Link again. Give Bunnybird's deck access to the attacks of Infernape at the moment. We see a level ball come down and search for a Pokemon with 90 HP or less. Very curious to see what comes down. Probably a Lapras. Well, no, not probably, because Bunnybird's already used Sporticar this turn, so Lapras would be a bit premature. Gotta have to wonder what it might be coming down. It is very interesting though that Bunnybird does not have any Claydol down. I wonder if they are playing any Claydol. There's no ball toy, no Claydol. Let's check out deck list here if I can find it while we're watching. Let's see. Bunnybird does not appear to be playing any Claydol. That is quite interesting. They're just relying on that Jirachi for the search. We see a Manaphy come down. Probably a good call with Earthquake being a huge threat here. See a fire energy drop on that Mew. You're going to see that Jirachi retreat, and that Mew is going to become the active Pokemon. And Bunnybird will be using that lost link to copy Infernal Vortex on that Infernape. Again, as a refresher, you're going to reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, and it does 80 damage for each energy you find there, and you're going to discard those energy cards and shuffle the rest back into your deck. That's a lot of damage for not a lot of discard, and in this format, that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. A lot of the Pokemon in this format that see play generally don't have a ton of HP. I see lost last round Celebi Prism Star with that only 90 HP. Huge threat, huge menace. Bunnybird is going to show the top 5 cards of their deck to see what kind of damage we're looking at here. There is 1 fire energy in there, so that will be a knockout on the Phanpy. Phanpy only has 70 HP. Phanpy goes down, that energy is discarded, and the other 4 cards will be shuffled back into the deck. We see a Versus Seeker come down on Bunnybird's side for Professor... no, sorry, on Mysterious Player's side for the Professor Oak's New Theory. Professor Oak's New Theory is going to be played there. LMP is going to draw a hand of 6 cards out of that. Alright, we do see that Donphan come down. Donphan is going to be using that Earthquake attack that for a single fighting energy does 120 damage to the active Pokemon and then does 20 damage to each of the player's benched Pokemon. So that Earthquake is only going to affect Mysterious Player's bench, so he can get some damage on that Phanpy to make it and its attack do a little bit of extra damage. That 2 damage counters will make it do 60 damage. Which is not anything to sneeze at. Or something like a Hustle Belt. That could be pretty potent. That's 60 plus the 20 from Diancie. So that's actually going to be 80, which is pretty potent. Alright, so that Mew Prime does go down. We're most likely going to put that Jirachi back to the active spot to use its Wishing Star Poke Power. We are seeing that use of the Jirachi. And we see a Green's Exploration come down. The Green's Exploration says if you have no Pokemon in play with abilities, you can search your deck for any 2 trainer cards, reveal them, put them into your hand. So even though these Pokemon have Pokebodies and Pokepowers, again, they do not have abilities. They are not the same thing, even though they function very similarly. So Green's Exploration is a perfectly valid card here. Green's Exploration is going to get Battle Compressor. Battle Compressor is a very interesting choice, and another Green's Exploration. So I guess the focus of this deck is just going to be that Infernape's attack. The Battle Compressor and to... Okay, actually, no, that makes perfect sense. Battle Compressor to thin out the deck from... thin out the deck of cards that don't matter to the attack for Mew. Okay, that is very interesting. She's discarding fire energy off of that. I'm a little surprised, actually. Okay, actually, no, I'm not. Because Delcatty is going to put those energy cards back on the top of the deck for free, which means there's going to be a guaranteed 160 damage off of the attack, which is actually pretty good. Very clever strategy there. Didn't think of that. Don't know why I didn't, but it's a good one. All right, so we see that power circulation. That circulation, right? Yes, power circulation. I'm going to put those two fire energies on the top of the deck right before that Mew Prime attacks. I'm going to make sure to guarantee that knockout on the Donphan. Donphan has 150 HP, so that Infernal Vortex, when Mew attacks, will do 160, which is just enough to knock out that Donphan. So we see the top two there. That is enough to know that there is a knockout. Sorry guys, my cat decided he wanted to throw a little bit of a tantrum there. We see Professor Oak's new theory come down. Again, new fresh hand of 6 cards. Damaged Phanpy from the bench is now at Donphan on the active spot with that pardon me, that strong energy, so that's going to give it access to 140 damage, which is really not necessary against this Mew, but it is enough to KO the Mew either way. So Earthquake, yeah, that's going to go down, and then damage is spread on MP's side. Oh, it's not. The Bench Barrier Mew finally came down. Bench Barrier Mime came down. Alright, Jirachi goes to the active spot there. I see an Ordinary Rod. Most likely cycling. Yep, there we go. Cycling a couple of Mews back into the deck to make sure they are available next turn, so there's something to attack with. Okay. I have to say, I'm really liking our players' decks today. There's some very interesting things. I love this Delcatty Mew and Jirachi deck. I love the Donphan. Just some interesting stuff. Like it's Bunny Bird's turn. It doesn't look like they switched over whose turn it is in Untap, but I think they understand whose turn it is. Alright, we see a Silent Lab and a Level Ball come out with Green's Exploration. Silent Lab going to bump that Brooklet Hill. It will shut off Mr. Mime's ability, so that is something worth noting. That means that that Earthquake will once again damage the bench. Another Mew coming down off that Level Ball. We see Power Circulation from Delcatty. Put 2 damage counters on that Delcatty. We put 2 Fire Energy on the top of the deck. Seeing a Marnie come down on MP's side. So that's going to force both of them to draw new hands. Bird's going to draw 4 cards, and MP's going to draw 5. Alright, we see a Focus Sash come down on Donphan. Focus Sash says, if the fighting type Pokemon this card is attached to his full HP and would be knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, the Pokemon is not knocked out and its remaining HP becomes 10 instead. And then discard this card. So basically this is going to force Bunnybird to attack into this Donphan twice in order to take the KO. And we are seeing an Adventure Bag discarded and an Oak's Theory discarded for an Ultra Ball. Getting that Claydol drawing with the Claydol. P is passing. They do not have the energy to attack with that Donphan. We see another Jirachi come down on Bunnybird's side. A little bit healthier with Jirachi this go around. Bunnybird only has 3 cards in their hands. So we'll see how this goes. Bird is in a little bit of a chat with me real quick, just to make sure that things are happening the way they are supposed to. Alright, that's sorted. Alright, just making sure cards are being played correctly. Alright. So they are going to Power circulate 2 energy cards on the top of the deck. And the other 3 cards revealed are fire energy, so they're going to go back to the deck. Those 2 fire energies are going to just to the discarded pile again. They have enjoyed their stay. Alright. And with that, I believe it is now Mysterious Player's turn. Focus Sash being a threat. Alright, we see an N come down. My 4 is Bunny Bird down to 3 cards. And Real and Peace move to draw 4. One of those situations where Claydol is immensely helpful. Claydol will mean the difference between being able to draw out of something like this late game and not. Because they continue to 1 during their turn, you draw a card to get down up to 2 for the start of your turn, and then you can use Claydol to draw up to 6. Whereas if you're in this sort of situation, you're going to be hoping that one of the cards you find off of Wishing Star is what you need to recover. An Ultra Ball discarding a Baltoy and a Guzma, getting a Ditto in the deck. Ditto again has that Poke Power that allows it to turn into any basic Pokemon from the discard pile, swapping it, basically Ninja Boying the new one into play in place of Ditto with form variation. That is its Poke Power. Alright, so that Donphan is going to KO that Mew. And the prize trade is now tied up at 3-3 with just over 5 minutes in the round. This is quite a back and forth. Look at the top 5 cards of the deck. Find a Professor Sycamore to dig out of this inn. Going to go and use that Sycamore, discarding her hand and drawing a fresh 7 cards, very much like the Professor's research in our current standard format. Professor Sycamore, again, discard your hand and draw 7 cards. In this format, and in unlimited format, and in expanded format, you are limited to exactly 1 version of any discard draw 7 card. So that would be Sycamore or Juniper or Research. You have to pick one of the 3. You cannot mix and match. The Bunnybird has chosen to go with Sycamore. I suspect Sycamore is probably one of her favorite professors. And unfortunately, Professor Sycamore does not have a professor's research just yet. A lot of love for a lot of the professors, but not for research. Sorry, not for Sycamore. The fire energy come down on that benched Mew Prime. And we're going to see a retreat using a skateboard, getting the Mew Prime to the active spot to take the KO on that Donphan. Donphan no longer a threat as that Focus Sash is gone. Once again, we're seeing that power circulation to reveal those two energy, and then the other three cards from that top of her deck. What those happen to be. One of them is a fire energy, so that will also be discarded alongside these two fire energy. the level ball and the luxury ball will go back into the deck, and the 3 fire energy will be discarded. That is a astounding amount of damage for that little Mew, 240, knocking out that Donphan with just 10 HP on it remaining. But Ditto goes to the active spot, so Ditto is going to go up, and Real MP will start their turn momentarily. There it goes. Alright, we're going to see that Poke Power on Ditto being used, most likely to pull a Phanpy play. There we go. That will allow it to evolve immediately into a Donphan. So if they have a Donphan, they will be able to evolve and attach a fighting energy to immediately get into Earthquake for 120, which will knock out that Mew. Question is, do they have what they need to get that up and going? They need a Donphan and they need a fighting energy. Can they get it? I think David Hockman is spectating this game. Alrighty. See that Ditto come down, a new Ditto come down. See a Versus Seeker drop. And for an Oak's New Theory. I wouldn't play the Oak's New Theory. Get those 6 cards. Hope we find what we want. Want that Donphan, want that fighting energy, want that knockout. And we get there. Lana's Fishing Rod. Okay, that Lana's Fishing Rod is going to put a Pokemon and a tool card from the discard pile into the deck. So we see the Donphan and a Focus Sash go back in. That Focus Sash could be quite a problem for Bunnybird, as that's going to skew the price trade against her, making it more difficult to take the KO. And it doesn't look... There we go. It doesn't look good for Bunnybird as time is about to be called. And there is time right there. We have time. All right, so we have 0 + 3 turns to see if there is going to be a winner in this match or if it will result in a tie. letting our players know that time has been called, that they are able to wrap up this game or result that tie. But we'll see how this goes. It is still possible for one of our players to win, but will she get there? That is the big question. So Relimpi has just 2 turns to take 3 prize cards. Bunnybird has 2 turns to take 2 prize cards. But that focus sash is going to be a huge problem. A Guzma will make it possible for Bunnybird to take the game, but she must have the Guzma to get around that focus sash, not once, but twice. Because if she takes a knockout this turn against something that's not that Phanpy, he can just put that Phanpy back to the active spot, and that's that. She needs Guzma 2 turns. Again, 2 turns in a row, these last 2 turns of the game, in order to guarantee a victory. Will she be able to pull it off? We're seeing that attack. Does not look like there's going to be a KO here, which does also... No, wait, is that the attack? That is not the attack. That is power circulate. Oh, that is the attack. Okay, so that means the game will end in a tie because there will not be enough. There won't be enough KOs here to secure the victory. Yep, that's a tie. Yeah, definitely is a tie. So tie. And we're going to go ahead and record that as a tie. Let me get these results put in for everyone. What? Okay, sorry. Surprised by one of the results here. Impressed about the result, but still surprised by it. Let's... Just some crazy games. All right, that was okay. So Bunnybird and here's player tied. Curse and David. Just making sure these results are right, guys. Just don't want to make sure that we have anything wrong. Just took that. And then check match. Those are correct results. I'm going to go ahead and pair up the 4th and final round of Swiss before top cut. So, going to let everyone know their pairings real quick. Alrighty, so they have been made aware of their opponents. We should see games here starting up in just a moment. Here we go. Right, let's see if we can find. I'm gonna jump in on this game once it's started. Let's see if we can join in a game where we haven't seen. Hmm. Something we haven't seen the games. All right, so let's do Curse versus. Haven't seen. We've seen Curse. Okay. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we have. This Curse versus Slight. Looks like there was a few mulligans. But good luck. High five. Have fun. Go for it. All right, starting Unknown Q and Arceus V. We see Celebi with the Theta Stop Ancient Trait. Ancient Trait says prevent all effects of your opponent's abilities done to this Pokemon. It has the ability that says Leap Through Time. This Pokemon is knocked out. Flip a coin. If heads, shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your deck, and your opponent can't take any prize cards for it. We see the Oddish drop. From that capture energy on Slidey side. And a Lily's Pokédoll on Curse's side. Very interesting. Life Dew going on that Celebi. We see Galar Mine come down. Very, very interesting. That's similar to what Curse played last time. I don't know if they've had some time to refine their deck list or if they're just going, if they're using the same one. I haven't had a chance to compare, but I suspect they put in some time and made some tweaks. All right, we see an enhanced hammer come down on that capture energy. Discarding that. That is brutal for Arceus. It is Slide's turn. You see a Zelf come down, and Zelf is going to use Time Walk. Time Walk is Poke Power that says once during your turn, when you put a Zelf from your hand onto your bench, you may look at all of your face down prize cards. If you do, you may choose a Pokemon you find there, show it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. Then choose one card in your hand and put it as a prize card face down. So we see that Vileplume. See a Chaotic Swell come down to bump that Galar Mine. So Galar Mine is now out of play, and Curse is going to need either a Field Blower or a Windstorm to take that Chaotic Swell out. Otherwise, any Stadium card that gets dropped is just going to get eaten by Chaotic Swell, and Chaotic Swell will be discarded with the eat. All right, we see a Baltoy come down off of Collector, a Blacephalon GX. Very interesting. And a Crobat V. All right. Very, 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 very interesting stuff here. suspect we're going to see that Baltoy come down and Triplacephalon, and we'll see that Unknown attach to something, and then the Crobat will go down after they've had a chance to thin their hand down a bit. Oh, just a pass. Really? Very interesting. Okay. So it is once again Curse's turn. Curse is drawing that card. Playing a Versus Seeker. Getting Team Rocket's handiwork. We see this card earlier from David Hockman. So again, flip 2 coins. For each heads, discard 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. That could be as many as 4 cards discarded. When you see a first flip is heads, second flip is heads, that is 4 cards the Slidey will be discarding from the top of their deck. That is brutal. So they discarded a Baltoy, a Computer Search, a Trevor, and a Mr. Brini's Compassion. Whew. Okay. See Cosmic Power. Slidey's going to put 2 cards from their hand on the bottom of their deck and draw until they have 6 cards. Vigilance drawing the 1. Alright, they've got the 1. Manually attaching that fire energy, using Crobat to draw 2 more, desperate at this point, trying to make sure that they have something. Okay, there we go. They've hit the Arceus V-Star. They can get that everything they need at this point. Rare Candy on the Vileplume. Now the item lock is in place, so Irritating Pollen is going to prevent Curse from playing any item cards from their hand. And now Slidey has access to Starbirth, so Starbirth can be used to get any 2 cards from the deck. Wow, I didn't even notice. Curse started their turn, drew a card, and immediately passed. That is absolutely brutal. It's going to be a Trinity Nova for knockout. That Celebi will be discarded, but Life Dew is going to prevent Slide. Ooh, actually. So that actually, it was going to be knocked out, but instead of being discarded, it's going to be flipped back into the deck. Alright, so we see Lily's Pokédoll go to the active spot. Lily's Pokédoll has a Cursed Shovel attached to it. I see the Celebi come back down, but unfortunately there is no way to attach a tool card even if Curse happens to have one, because Vileplume is in play and Curse is locked. They have both actually locked. Neither of them can play any item cards at the moment because of Vileplume's Irritating Pollen ability. See Trinity Nova come down and knocking out that Lily's Pokédoll. Cursed Shovel will make Slidey discard 2 cards from the top of their deck. And down they go. Celebi comes to the active spot. Can Curse draw out of this dead zone? This is not looking good for Curse. At this point, Arceus has a lot of energy attached to it. Even if Enhanced Hammer comes down and takes out that colorless energy, there's still 3 energy on that Arceus V-Star. Plenty for it to use that Trinity Nova, and that's game. Curse is going to go ahead and scoop. Curse says they need more draw support. And I like the Vileplume. Vileplume is very strong. It's a stage 2 item lock, but it's very, very good. Alright, with that said, we are going to go and see if we can peek in on another game still in progress. We're going to stop spectating that game, and we are going to watch this game between Mysterious Player and Gil. So let's see how this goes. This is going to be Fanpy and Urshifu. Whew. Got some interesting stuff today, guys. That is the one beautiful thing about the Eternal format, is you never know what you're going to see. There is such a wide card pool that there is going to be some serious spice pretty much no matter what deck the person is playing. The Green's Exploration come down on Gil's side. Let's see if they are going to grab with that Green's Exploration. Again, they do not have any Pokemon in play that have abilities, so Green's Exploration is able to grab 2 of any trainer card from the deck. Currently, Gil is 3-0. They are the undefeated player in the tournament at the moment. This Urshifu is being quite a menace for our other players. Let's see if Mysterious Player, the previous champion, is able to handle this particular archetype with that Donphan. I see Pokédraw Plus come down. Or Plus says you may play 2 Pokédraw Plus at the same time. If you play 1, draw a card. If you play 2, which is what we just saw there, you search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. This basically becomes a double computer search. It's pretty freaking potent. Very freaking potent, in fact. You see the Urshifu come down with the Rapid Strike energy, meaning that Urshifu is fully powered up and ready to go. With the Float Stone and the Azelf, it comes to the bench, and Urshifu goes to the active spot. Now, there is that Mr. Mime on the bench, but Silent Lab is in play, which means that Mr. Mime and its ability are unimportant at the moment. You see that discard. We see that G-Max Rapid Flow come down and take a couple of KOs. Real MP playing that Level Ball. Getting a Ditto. Going to cycle those Fanpies back into play to make sure that they always have access to Fanpies so they can evolve it into Donphan. See a Marnie come down. Marnie is going to disrupt Slight's hand and make sure that there is a little bit more of a chance for Real MP to make a comeback here. Slight already has 3 prize cards. That is crazy. Alright, Brooklet Hill is going to bump that Silent Lab. Silent Lab is gone. It is not. Alright, that would just remind me that timer is not currently going. I'm going to figure out what the timer is supposed to be at real quick, and then we will go from there. So we need to fix this. All right. Alrighty, that has been fixed. Timer has been updated. Make sure, and it is running. Make sure it's going for good. Alright, we see that Green's Exploration. I do wonder if there's going to be a Pokédraw again. Nope, we're going to see a Luxury Ball. And a Pokédraw. Okay, so they may already have one in their hand. So we see Claydol. And the other Pokédraw. Okay. They did indeed have the other one in their hand. Claydol got that Luxury Ball. And I see a warp point. Warp point says your opponent switches one of the defending Pokemon with their bench, and you switch yours. This is basically an escape rope. A little bit older of a card. Same effect. See that fighting energy come down on the Urshifu. Zelf is now in the active spot. We see a floatstone come down on the Claydol too. I believe that's a fresh floatstone. Maybe not. Maybe I just missed that drop earlier. Alright, so that Zelf is going to be KO'd. However, it is now Slight's turn once again, and Urshifu is in the active spot. Take that KO on the active Azelf. And once again passes to MP. Mysterious player is going to put the Diancie in the active spot. Put a floatstone on that Diancie to make it possible to retreat it. And let's see what they can do with what they have in play at the moment. And they do. It is the real MP's turn. They need to see about getting that Phanpy to the active spot and evolving into a Donphan. If they don't have a Donphan, they're in a serious amount of trouble. We'll be able to do 50 damage with the attack between the strong energy and Diancie's Princess's Cheers. But without that Donphan, they're not going to be getting very much damage in. And that Donphan really will matter because they're already only going to be two-shotting this Urshifu. See Professor Oak's new theory come down, trying to see if they can find a Claydol. See the Donphan come down, that's good. There will be some decent damage this turn, but we don't see the Claydol drop just yet. Have to wonder if it is just not available at this point. If it isn't one of the discard pile, it's possible they've prized all their Claydol, or it's just they're having rotten luck drawing into it. Sliding now, spectating the game. This is the real mysterious player versus Gil, our current 3-0 player in the tournament. Mysterious player is 1-0-2, two ties. Two ties so far. Some really interesting and complex strategies coming from our players today. See a Ultra Ball discarding a Radiant Hawlucha and a Professor Oak's new theory. Searching for something. Yeah, there's that Claydol. I knew that Claydol had to come out at some point. See, if it's in the deck, it's got to come out. That Cosmic Power is too important. Alright, so the two cards from the hand are going to go back to the bottom, and then Mysterious Player is going to draw a fresh hand of 6 cards. Again, that is a super powerful, super potent Poke Power. If an ability like that were on a Stage 1 Pokemon today, it would 100% see play. It's just so strong. It's like a supercharged Crobat, or a slightly less broken Genesect. Alright, we just see so that Rapid Strike Urshifu has 21 damage on it. So that's 21 damage counters to 210 damage. You'll need another hit with that Donphan in order to take KO. At this point, all Gil needs is a Rapid Strike Energy and a Silent Lab for game. And he can get there. There's the Silent Lab. Is there a Rapid Strike Energy? Brain's Exploration is going to find something. What is it going to find? Oh, computer search. That is going to be game. If there is a Rapid Strike Energy in the deck at all, that will be game. There's the Rapid Strike Energy. That's game. So that is going to shut off the Silent Lab will shut off Mr. Mime's ability, meaning that none of the Pokemon on the bench are protected, and G-Max Rapid Flow will just knock out 2 of any of the Pokemon in play, immediately taking the last 2 prize cards. Gil does take this and takes the Swiss rounds 4-0 heading into the finals. All right, very interesting. Let's get the match results reported. And we will see how the other matches have gone. Do we have a game running? All right, we're going to jump into our last game here. It does look like the lock has been established. For those of you who are jumping in at this point in the stream, David Hockman's deck is a very brutal trainer lock and paralysis lock deck. Once it sets up, you're pretty much done. You cannot play any trainer cards at all because of Walrein X's Poke Power called Chilling Breath. Chilling Breath says once during your tournament you play Walrein X from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may play this power. Your opponent can't play any trainer cards from their hand during their turn, so that just makes it impossible for you to do basically anything. You need something to break the effect and some energy. So you can play energy cards, you can play Pokemon, but that's it. So you need something like a Russian Keldeo to break the paralysis that Raichu puts on your active, and then you need energy on whatever it is that's rushing in, or already have a free retreat, something on that particular Russian Pokemon, whether that's a known Q to make sure that it's got 0 or something, just so you can get it back out and attack with whatever you have ready. Without Russian, you're pretty well locked. Fortunately, that Walrein is very, very powerful. As Celebi in the active spot currently has a Holon's Voltorb attached to it as an energy card. So Holon's Voltorb has that effect there on the bottom. It says you attach this as an energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon while attached. It is a special energy card and provides colorless energy. So Bunnybird says, I don't have any outs as far as I'm aware. Good game. So Bunnybird's just going to go and scoop it up and give Dav the win so that we can move on to the finals. Connor asks, this one is Gil versus Mysterious Player. Yes, I misspoke. I caught that toward the end. I think I that previous game I misspoke there. Whew. All right, so the finals. Our top 4 players are going to be Gil, Slidey, David, and Curse. They are all moving on to top 4. Give me just a moment and I'll have pairings ready for finals. As right now. Pairings for Top Cut have been placed, so we will see the players jump into games here momentarily. Timer has been put up for top 4. We started as soon as players get into their games. All right, we are going to see. We're gonna see what we're gonna watch. Slidey versus Curse, and we are going to see a rematch between these two. Again, here in the finals, this is time. The finals are going to be your top 4 in this case. Our best of 3 50-minute rounds with 2-minute buffer for the chaos that is untapped. You know, like a couple extra minutes just to make sure that everybody's able to get set up and everybody's able to handle any small quirks that Untap throws at them. All right, so we're going to see the Arceus V come down. Down goes the Oddish. And switch to Curse's turn. So Curse is going to start their turn. See a capture energy drop on that Celebi. And another Celebi come down. Down comes Yellhorn. Both active Pokemon are now confused. Celebi also has a cursed shovel attached to it, so even if that Arceus manages to attack and deal damage to that Celebi, if it's knocked out, they'll be discarding 2 cards from the top of their deck. See Team Rocket's handiwork come down, and Slidey's going to be discarding 2 cards from the top of their deck. That is going to be a Chaotic Swell and a Fire Energy. See Pokemon Communication. Arceus V is going to go back into the deck. See the V-Star come down. I'm going to remove that confusion. And Starburst. So that is the V-Star power on Arceus V-Star. Starburst says search your deck for 2 cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So you cannot use more than 1 V-Star power in a game. However, that double computer search effect on Arceus is absolutely insane. See the rare candy come down and that Vileplume drop. That Arceus is able to make sure that you can get that Vileplume out and attacking, or not attacking, but I mean, it's kind of an attack. It's not an attack, but out and being vicious. How's that? So you're going to see the double colorless energy come down on Arceus V-Star, a Pokemon Collector for Crobat, Unknown Q, and 1 other basic Pokemon will go to their hand. Looks like he's electing to only pick the 2. So they have dropped Crobat and drawn 5 off of Dark Asset, and hitting that Celebi with Trinity Nova. And unfortunately for Curse, that Celebi is going to be knocked out and discarded instead of being shuffled back in the deck with that ability. Curse Shovel is going to force Slidey to discard 2 cards from the deck. And they did. They discarded an Arceus V-Star and a Dusknoir, but at this point, Slidey is so set up, so powered up, that it's not going to be easy for Curse to recover. That energy is on that Arceus V-Star. It is completely ready to go. So this is going to be quite something. Looks like they're going to go ahead and go to game 2. Curse is going to just call it as it is. It is a loss. Let's go to game 2. All right. Next game. Going to let in an angry kitty. Let's see how it does. Have my angry kitty. Alright, so Spite is starting the Blacephalon GX. Very interesting. Wondrous Labyrinth Prism Star come down from Curse, and a Netball. Probably searching for a 3rd Celebi. There it is. Got that 3rd Celebi down. Touching Aromatic Grass Energy to the Celebi. And then passing, so we see a Luxury Ball come down. Galaxy Swell bumping that Wondrous Labyrinth, and an Arceus V coming down with it. That Luxury Ball. Capture Energy is attached to that Arceus V. And we see the Oddish come down. Welder onto the Arceus. Very interesting. Drawing 3 cards off of the Welder. And we're going to see a Pokemon Communication for a Duskull. No, not for a Duskull. Putting the Duskull back into the deck for a Baltoy. Alright, it is once again Curse's turn. Discarding Battle VIP Pass with Cramomatic. Tails, unfortunately, not going to be able to search their deck for a card. Does have Enhanced Hammer. That Enhanced Hammer comes down on that Capture energy. And we see an N. Curse is going to draw a fresh hand of 6 cards, as is his opponent, Slidey. So we see the double release Pokédoll drop. Hey, how are you? You guys can't see that my cat is trying to get attention from me very, very desperately. I was just petting on you. Desperate kitty is desperate. Alright. It is now Slidey's turn. Let's see what they do. An Arceus V-Star comes down, giving access to that V-Star power, enabling the Vileplume and switch if necessary. It's the evolution to Claydol, access for cosmic power. Trying to draw into whatever they can before they have to Starbirth. Don't Starbirth right away, they can have use that later on if necessary. Start to come down. Started. Alright, so Starbirth. Some sort of switching card. Oh, colorless if I had to guess. A Guzma. Okay, yep. Hitting one of the bench Celebi. Switching that Arceus into the active spot. That double colorless energy comes down on the Arceus V-Star. And the rare candy drops onto that Oddish and into Vileplume. So at this point, Celebi, Curse are item locked. They will not be able to play any item cards that includes cards like Life Dew and Lily's Pokédoll. These cards get knocked out or otherwise shuffled into the deck, they won't be able to come back down unless that Vileplume's ability is shut off. And it's now Curse's turn. And now it's and now it's Lighty's turn. All right, that was a quick flip there. And they have a little issue, but they're gonna just fix it with a quick solution. It's sure you know that Lily's Pokédoll will be knocked out. Lily's Pokédoll does not give up a prize card when it is knocked out, so another Lily's Pokédoll comes to the active spot. Ursula trying to make sure that Sludgy doesn't take any additional prize cards. So you capture energy come down on the bench. Celebi without the live do. Probably trying to find that fourth and final Celebi in the deck, if I had to guess. As the other one did land in the discard pile. Alright, looks like it's just a pass. No Pokemon left in the deck to find. Trinity Nova will knock out that Pokédoll. And then we see the life do Celebi come to the active spot. Moments like this where something like a Ranger or Garbotoxin Garbodor would be very helpful. See Sparkle. Sparkle is Sparkle Motion, so put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon. So it's just spreading damage a little bit, just so there's something happening on their side. Pokemon Ranger and Lapras would do Curse a lot of good in this moment, but unfortunately, I do not think that Curse has any additional options, and this is going to end up being game here in just a moment. Celebi will not be able to attack. And even if it did attack, it wouldn't be doing enough damage to really matter. I don't believe that Curse has any other out at this point. That item lock is just locked, and Curse is going to go ahead and scoop up. Alright, so that means that Slidey will be going on to the finals. Slidey is one of our finalists for today's Eternal Format Tournament. We'll see who his opponent is going to be here in just a moment. See if the other game is still going. Going to be Gil versus David. Gil is very well set up. But it looks like David is... Oh no, David does not have the Celebi Prism Star. This could spell disaster. Is Celebi Prism Star in the discard pile? It is not. Not out yet. But David's bench is full. Was there a... There was not. Very interesting to see these results. And we see a double KO. Gil is just running this eternal form of Shocklock over. Gil is saying this is game 1. This is game 1. Thank you, Gil, for letting us know. Alright, the paralysis comes down on that Urshifu. The Urshifu is paralyzed. You're not going to see the trainer lock, unfortunately, for David. David does not have access to a Celio to evolve into Walrein. That will not be a possibility. There's the Celio for next turn. That's going to be a big threat to Gil if he can't get this this thing knocked out. Very interesting. This Shocklock threat may not be a threat much longer come Lost Origin. Lost Origin has a Wind Up Arm as a new item card that you can attach to one of your Pokemon as a tool. Will allow you to attack through paralysis and through sleep, which
which means situations like this, if you have something like Green's Exploration in your deck, you can run a 1-of wind-up arm, attach it to your Urshifu, and still manage to take the knockout, even while paralyzed, is something that wouldn't have been possible before. That would place Peonia searching his prize cards, probably hoping to find that Celebi Prism Star if it's there. If not, we shall see momentarily. Once that Celebi Prism Star comes down, that lock is going to go absolutely brutal. Do we see it? And putting cards back into his prize cards after that draw off of Peonia. Very interested to see what cards Peonia happens to have pulled to David's hand. There's that Celebi Prism Star. Already we're seeing a huge threat on David's side. There's the Holland's Voltorb. That Celebi is now powered up. A pass turn to Gil, so if he can knock out anything, he'll knock out that Lapras, but more than likely, Gil is going to be stuck. There's the Rapid Strike energy coming down on the Urshifu VMAX. That is going to get a Guzma off of a Warp Point. Okay, that'll work. That will definitely work. All right, so the Warp Point is going to force the switch here, just like an escape rope. Then he'll be able to retreat using the float still in the other Urshifu to bring this Urshifu back to the active spot. And in so doing, will end up knocking out most likely the Celebi and that Celio to prevent that full lock from going into place. And that is going to be game. Taking the Celebi and the Raichu rather than the Celio. And it doesn't really matter at this point that those are the last two prize cards, meaning that Gil does in fact take game one. Very interesting game one from these two gentlemen. Right. Should be seeing game two here momentarily. We have just over 30 minutes left in the round. This is the now the second game of top four. Gil is currently up 1-0 against David Hockman. Gil is playing Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. David is playing Celebi Shocklock. With an absolutely brutal Walrein X. See a mulligan on Gil's side. Go ahead and shuffle that hand back in and draw a new 7 cards. Very interesting. Oh, that's very interesting. David has started a new prime. I've been saying I'm good, but typoing as I'm God. Very, very funny typo. See a Darkrai GX come down on Gil's side. Very interesting. Darkrai GX says has dark cleave attack for dark colorless does 130. Attack damage is not affected by resistance. And then Dead End GX for dark colorless. When its active condition is affected by a special condition, that Pokemon is knocked out. Also has Restoration. It says once during your turn or your attack, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may put it onto your bench. Then attach a Darkness Energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon. Gil is going to play 2 Pokédrawer Plus, searching their deck for 2 of any card and putting them into the hand and then discarding those Pokédrawers. So we will see what they pulled out here in a moment, I'm sure. Now it has that active Mew Prime. It's going to be very useful for when that Celebi ends up in the loss zone. It means that Mew Prime will be able to copy Celebi's attack, which will allow him to keep up that lock against Gale. Gale is going to go ahead and use a Float Stone on the Darkrai to make sure that it can retreat. I'm going to pull a Baltoy and another Pokemon from the deck with Battle VIP Pass. See the Rapid Strike Urshifu V come down and a Fighting Energy attached to that Urshifu. So I think that's the first turn. Okay, as we say, they can't retreat and strafe. It's just a turn one thing. So it's still all right. So the Urshifu is going to go to the active spot, but obviously there's no attack. This is Gil's first turn, so no attack. Now it's going to start their turn, and immediately starting with a Cynthia. Oh my goodness, this looks like it might be over before it starts. David maybe losing here in top four. That Urshifu is going to evolve, and it is already Gil's turn. There's the Rapid Strike energy. That Rapid Strike energy does not even need to evolve the Urshifu. That's just game. The 100 Furious Blows on Rapid Strike Urshifu V will knock out that Mew VMAX. Or Mew Prime, sorry, not Mew VMAX. Will knock out that Mew Prime, meaning Gil has taken this particular finals 2-0 with Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX against Shocklock. So very well played from both of our players here in this game, and very well played from all of our players today, and especially so far in top four. We are going to see the next round here shortly. We'll see the finals. Finals, where is my notepad? Meets light. This is going to be Slight versus Gil in the finals. Very, very interesting games today. Some very fascinating decks. Definitely going to see at least two bans, I think, from what we've seen today. I do think the format is actually healthier than I had anticipated, coming from the changes that we'd seen previous. All right, so it's going to be Slight versus Guilt in the finals here. The tournament pairings for our players. Let them know that they are, in fact, going to be going to the finals here. First live. All right, we shall see our finals here in just a moment. Once it does, 50-minute timer go up. As soon as our players have jumped into their game. On our players to respond to the match pairings. Waiting on our finals players here. See if maybe Untap's just being slow. Alright, looks like Untap was the problem here. We are in the game now. Played our Baltoy versus Baltoy start. That's quite funny. Slightly going to use a Pokemon communication to put a Baltoy back in the deck to get an Arceus V. Now, this particular matchup, I believe, is going to be Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX versus Arceus Vileplume. Throwback come down. 3 cards drawn off that, and Gil's going to start their turn, discarding a Darkrai GX off of the Quick Ball. Searching their deck probably for a Rapid Strike Urshifu V, if I had to guess. A Lapras. For a Lapras, going to get a supporter card. This is their first turn, but they're going second, so they can play a supporter card. They're going to go ahead and get a Green's Exploration, and off Green's Exploration, they're going to get Battle VIP Pass. A Level Ball. So that Battle VIP Pass and Level Ball, they can find 3 different basic Pokemon this turn to set themselves up quite completely. Very, very fun. All right, what is Gil going to get off these search cards here? To find what from the... We're going to play that Level Ball. Off of Value IP Pass, we're getting 2 Urshifu V. So we're just going to put this Level Ball back in the hand for now. I'm not going to play it at the moment. Right, we see Pokemon Collector drop on Slidey's sides. Turns passed over. Pokemon Collector going to find a Duskull, an Oddish, an Unknown Q. This deck is very much going to be a lock opponent. Probably playing the Dusknoir that shuts off special energy cards. I have not had a chance to dig through these deck lists just yet to fully understand how they play, but this should be quite interesting all the same. We do see that Oddish come down and the Duskull come down. They are both in play now. See Arceus V-Star drop. And we're going to use the Starbirth. The Starbirth again, searching the deck for 2 of any card. David Souza says, damn, this cube sucks. David Souza, very, very amusing. This is not cube. The Unknown Q come down and be used to attach to that Baltoy, to retreat that Baltoy, and move the Arceus V-Star into the active spot. Who put Claydol in their cube? Everybody should put Claydol in their cube. Nobody should put Claydol in their cube. That's not true. Claydol was really strong. See that double colorless energy come down. We see Pokemon Communication putting back on a Zelf. Possibly searching for, there we go, Arceus V. Put down that Arceus V to get another Arceus V or another V Pokemon in play so that they can full effect of Trinity Nova, get that energy onto that Arceus V with Trinity Nova. Trinity Nova will knock out that Baltoy, and then Arceus V Star is able to power up the Arceus V on the bench completely. So that when it evolves into V Star, it is also fully ready to go. It's quite an interesting matchup as Urshifu actually is favored in this particular match. Although Arceus V-Star is a 2-prize Pokemon and Rapid Urshifu VMAX is a 3-prize Pokemon, but that fighting weakness on Arceus could be a problem, as I have yet to see a Dunsparce or a weakness policy or a weakness guard energy from the Arceus player here. I suspect they're playing something to deal with weakness, but we have yet to see it. I think Rapid Strike Urshifu V goes into the active spot, and Gil starts their turn. So the VMAX comes to the active spot, and a Rapid Strike Energy as well. The Level Ball comes down. There's the Claydol. Claydol is going to allow them to put 2 cards from their hand on the bottom of their deck and draw until they have 6 cards. Have not yet played that Cosmic Power, Poke Power, but I suspect they will shortly. We're going to go ahead and play VS Seeker, getting the Green's Exploration from the discard pile to use it. Not sure exactly which cards they're going to find off of the Green's Exploration, but they are going to search for a Floatstone. Floatstone, extremely important here, getting that Urshifu out of the active spot so that the benched Urshifu with the energy on it can get in, do an attack. That attack will do 150 times 2. That'll do 300 damage, KOing that Arceus V-Star immediately. We get to see what other card Gil happens to be getting off of that Green's Exploration, or if he's just going to go with only the Floatstone. Getting a Luxury Ball. Luxury Ball is a get whatever Pokemon you want except Pokemon level X and put it into your hand. They're going to perhaps play that. They're getting an Urshifu V Max. Okay, so they're getting it. Now they are both Urshifu V Max. They're going to most likely retreat the active V Max. There we go. There's the retreat. Bench one comes forward, and then we are going to see the extremely nasty Gale Thrust for 300, taking that Arceus V-Star down in 1 hit. Silent Lab going down just for good measure, and that's a KO. All right, so 2 prize cards already taken by Gil. Let's see how Slidey responds. 3 energy on that Arceus V. Has that V-Star, then he's in good shape. Take at least a little damage in. This honestly looks a bit brutal for Slidey. That Urshifu VMAX was an extremely good meta call. Not a lot of players anticipating Urshifu, and frankly, it shows. Gil has swept his opponents in previous rounds and continues to just maul them in the current rounds. All right, let's see how this continues on here. We see Slidey drop a computer search, finding some sort of way to deal with the weakness here. We see a Trevor come down. Trevor is very much like Pokekid in the current format. You basically search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, put it into your hand. So he's going to go ahead and find Arceus V and a Rare Candy. The Rare Candy is going to put the Dusknoir in play, shutting off the effect of Rapid Strike Energy. So Rapid Strike Energy is now just a single colorless energy, meaning Gmax Rapid Flow is no longer remotely as potent as it was, and Rapid Strike Energy no longer provides the fighting energy necessary to use Gmax Rapid Flow or Gale Thrust, which could pose a problem for Gil. This could be the comeback that Slidey needed to get back in the game against him, because now energy attachments is going to be much more of an issue. Taking Ultra Ball, discarding a few cards from their hand. What are they going to pull from this? The Rapid Strike Urshifu V come down off of that Ultra Ball. Make sure to get something else set up while that Urshifu is active and eating the damage. You're so pathetic, cat. My cat Ira was being adorable. I need like a cat cam while I'm casting. Just saying the timer is not live on the stream. I will fix that here momentarily. Fix the timer on the stream. here. And the left one. There are 40 minutes left in the round, so we're going to make sure that the timer is reflecting that. All right, timer is live again. Sorry about that, guys. See a basic energy come onto that benched Urshifu V Max, and that unfortunately does spell disaster for that Arceus V-Star. That is another knockout for Gil. A Spectral Breach did good, but didn't do enough. Still playing those basic fighting energies, and still a huge threat to Arceus with that damage and weakness. See a Luxury Ball come down on Slidy's side, searching most likely for a V-Star to take another 200 damage in on, do another 200 damage there. Looks like they're going to have to hit into that V Max. See a Chaotic Swell go down. Another Ball Toy. Getting ready for a second Claydol and a pass. Just 200 damage into that V Max. That is not pleasant. That is not a KO. That is not going to spell. That is not going to do well for our slide here. They're just going to scoop the game, go to game 2. The Urshifu versus Arceus starting here. Pokemon Communication for putting an Arceus back to get. My co-caster, apparently my cat, he's trying to put his feedback in. See an Otis come down, another Pokemon Communication, putting a Vileplume into the deck. Very interesting play there. Searching most likely for a Baltoy. Very, okay, that makes sense. Baltoy. That should have been obvious. Searching for a Baltoy to get that Claydol set up for next turn. Alright, it is now Gil's turn. A level ball drop. Probably getting a Baltoy, I had to guess. Baltoy, a huge part of the Claydol engine. And frankly, just too good not to play. Doing a quick search of their prize cards, making sure they are aware what they have prized. They can play a bit better. Baltoy is indeed coming down. Dropping a Pokédrawer, dropping 2 Pokédrawers, double computer searching their deck to grab 2 of whatever they need. The Battle VIP Pass and Professor's Letter come down. The Battle VIP Pass is going to find 2 basic Pokemon. We're seeing a Rapid Strike Urshifu V and another Rapid Strike Urshifu V. Professor's Letter is going to allow them to search their deck for 2 basic fighting energy. I'm putting 1 on the active V and then the other into their hand to ensure that Dusknoir play is not viable for Slidey. That is quite a good play there, making sure that Pokemon is ready to go even with Spectral Breach. Alright, On Slidy's turn, evolving into that Arceus V-Star, going to probably use that V-Star power to find a rare candy and a Vileplume, lock out options on Urshifu's side, preventing the retreat. We're going to see a Starbirth for a rare candy and a Vileplume. I can feel it. There are no floatstones down at the moment, so something like a escape rope or a warp point aren't going to be playable because of Vileplume. Vileplume is now in play. That item lock is set up. Means this retreat shenanigans that Gil has been relying on with Urshifu are not available to him. Could pose a problem. See if they can get out of it. Arceus V-Star does not have any energy attached with just yet. There's a double colorless energy and an unknown Q come down. Discarding the double colorless energy to retreat the Arceus V-Star, putting unknown Q in the active spot, and just passing to Gil. Gil is going to go and start their turn, evolving the Boltoy into Claydol, making use of that cosmic power as quickly as possible to try to deal with that frankly frustrating Vileplume. See energy come down on the Urshifu and a pass back to Slidey. That is going to be a prize card, knocking out that unknown Q with the strafe. Yes, it did. 30 damages is enough indeed to knock out that unknown Q. We see a Duskull come down on Slidey's side, getting ready for that Dusknoir, just in case. Pokemon Collector coming down, swapping in the Arceus V-Star for a Baltoy? Oh, Pokemon, not Pokemon Communication. Pokemon Collector for Arceus V, Baltoy, and Blacephalon GX. We see the Arceus V and the Baltoy go down. Blacephalon goes to the hand. Pokemon Collector will be discarded here. I see a Dusclops. Dusclops, this is a Dusclops. This is an older Dusclops. Coming down to evolve manually from that Duskull. Looks like they may have used the Spiritborn evolution to search for that Dusclops to evolve. They have passed turn to Gil. Gil does have the Urshifu with a Rapid Strike energy on it. Has not evolved it. Probably doesn't need to, but it would not hurt. Unfortunately, the biggest problem that Gil is going to run into right now is that item lock. Green's Exploration will get some cards, but he won't be able to play any item cards that he finds off Green's Exploration. They will just be sitting in his hand dead. So we see a Guzma preparing for that next turn. Guzma and a Silent Lab. Silent Lab will shut off the abilities of any basic Pokemon, but basic Pokemon at this point don't really seem to be playing any role in this game. Don't see any bench barrier Pokemon, but that Rapid Strike Urshifu V is taking the knockout on that V-Star, taking 2 prize cards for Slidey. Sorry, 2 prize cards for Gil, not for Slidey, from Slidey. That Baltoy goes to the active spot. We see a Trevor come down. Trevor most likely going to find a Dusknoir. Yep, there it is. Spectral Breach Dusknoir. So Dusknoir is going to lock up the energy cards on that Urshifu. Urshifu will need another fighting energy in order to take a KO with 100 Furious Blows. And unfortunately, I think this could be disaster catastrophe in making. Oh, it is Gil's turn. There was just a pass. All right, so that's Spectral Breach is a problem, but not as much as you might expect. So as long as that Guzma is played super well, this could be game over. need to see an Urshifu V Max and the Guzma drop. But Guzma, unfortunately, also means that Gil will need to drop into the V Max. I don't know if they have it just yet. However, they have not played all his Poke Power. That is still an option. See Mr. Brainy's Compassion come down. Instead of playing Guzma, we do see Mr. Brainy's Compassion. We see 2 energy on that Urshifu. They're putting a Zelf in the active spot, deciding the Urshifu is not really what they wanted there. Mr. Brainy's Compassion did scoop up that Urshifu. We see a Claydol in the active spot. Did make use of Cosmic Power, seeing a Welder onto the Arceus, attaching an energy with Welder, and drawing 3 cards. Silent Lab comes down to. Sorry, Chaotic Swell comes down to bump that Silent Lab. I see a Darkness Energy on that Urshifu V and a Guzma play. Guzma is going to force the Vileplume? Taking the knockout on the Vileplume. Very interesting. Knocking out the Vileplume with that Urshifu. Just get it out of there. Tell it, you know what? You're annoying. I don't want to see you anymore. Arceus V going on the active spot. See if they get that V star. See Blacephalon GX come down to the bench. This is the first time we've seen the Blacephalon actually be dropped potentially to the bench. We see an energy attachment on the Blacephalon GX, making it possible to make use of that Burst GX. It comes down. Claydol comes to the active spot. The Arceus goes to the bench. Blacephalon is going to the active spot. What is the attack? What is the route here? Is it Bursting Burn or is it Burst GX? I'm assuming it's Burst GX, but it could just be Bursting Burn. It could be trying to stall for time with the Bursting Burn. What is the play? It is going to be Bursting Burn. Just going to stall. All right. Burst Seeker coming down. Probably going to get that Guzma back. Darkrai also coming back into play with a Darkness Energy attached to it. Actually, bench is full right now. That's not a thing. What's going on with the Darkrai? There's already 5 Pokemon on the bench. Kuzma is coming out. Unless there's something I'm missing. We've paused play for a second here. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, that's game. That's why it paused. Darkrai was irrelevant. Okay, that's just game. All right, that would explain it. They didn't resolve it on screen, but that is game because Guzma is going to pull forward that Urshifu and it's going to knock out that Arceus V, taking those last two prize cards. So that's just game. The Darkrai was a distraction and unimportant to the resolution of the game. So with that said, Gil is our victor. Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX is the champion today, and Gil is going to be the big winner. So congratulations to Gil for taking first place. Congratulations to Slidey for taking second. It's some very, very interesting games today. Very, very fun games to watch and to talk about as they've happened on stream here. I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I'm going to go ahead and see if Gil is interested in doing an interview. We shall see. Okay, so Gil is going to do an interview. So I'm going to get set up real quick for that, and we will go ahead and talk to Gil for just a couple minutes about their victory. All right. This. Can we hear each other? That's the big question. Hey, congratulations on taking first place. Yeah, but I mean, Urshifu, that was quite the play for this format. I gotta say, I'm impressed. Yeah, if you have an image version of it from Cube Koga, I can pull it up on stream. Hmm. Yep, it was brutal, and I was watching you play the Pokedrawer Plus. That seemed super super good for Urshifu. Yeah, Yeah, Poker Drawer seemed, in my opinion, Poker Drawer was an MVP. I was watching it that first time I saw you on stream. You were grabbing the Rapid Strike energy and just and a switching card or Rapid Strike energy. It was super good. Yeah, that was very impressive. Again, thank you for participating. Uh, so I have to ask, and I'm going to ask everyone probably here in a little bit. Are there any cards you saw today that you thought maybe shouldn't be in the format? The cards that should, yeah, yep, oof, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was really quite something. So now that you've played this tournament, obviously you won, but is there anything that you would change about your deck now that you've had a chance to get some games out of it? Uh-huh. It is. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Yeah, it's been interesting in Eternal. Like you expect something, and then that's not what you see. That, that right. Well, thank you so much for. Sorry, go ahead. For sure. Yeah, yeah. It's that instant KO. Even a three prizer is quite something. Well, thank you so much for doing this little interview. And again, congratulations on winning. I'll be sending out the pricing and participation in a little bit. Hope to see you on the 20th of August. There will be a Eternal format tournament then on Limitless this time instead of through the Discord. It'll be a JIBX series tournament. Again, thank you and congratulations again. See you soon. It is. Yeah. Thank you so much. Again, congratulations to Gil for taking the victory there, and congratulations to Slidey for taking second. There's been some great games today. Um, I'm excited to see how this format continues to evolve as we polish the ban list. I think the ban list is doing a fairly decent job of getting rid of the super toxic combinations, but again, there's always some polishing that can be done. Thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you in